Let's move to our next keynote profile, Mr. Vijayachandar Sanikal, Senior Member IEEE Independent Researcher, USA. His expertise include 20 years of global expertise in digital twin, virtual simulation, software validation for ICE, hybrid BEVs and SDVs. Subject matter expert in thermal architecture for power train cooling, HVAC and battery systems. So let's warmly welcome Mr. Sanikal.
Thank you for the warm introduction. Let me start sharing my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, thanks for the opportunity. And today I'm going to talk about interesting slides on the software-defined vehicle, how the virtual validation is helping both hardware and the software space. So let's move on. Before I dive deep into it and why there is a buzz for the software-defined vehicle, why the industry is focusing more on it. So if you try to look at it now in a Guardian research report, almost by 2025, more than 50% of the top 10 OEMs will have for new features. Either it could be a vehicle enhancement or a vehicle infotainment or any other features or ADAS features through a software update, just by software update. Imagine how much money that's going to generate. And also, nearly 44% age of the people who will be using our automotive, more or less, they're paying around $20 per month for additional services. That could be include your music services, map services, payment services, any other services, right? So that is additional revenue going to our automakers. That's a motivation behind all the changes is happening currently. And so let's look into our current system architect level, what is happening for the OEMs, right? So if you see the top level, you have your consumer and you have your OEM. So OEM makes hardware and software in collaboration with your tier 1, tier 2 customer, supplier, right? And this is SOP, startup production. So you do the development activities roughly around 3 to 5 years, depends upon the complexity of the vehicles. Once your vehicle is startup production, you make money, right? And this money you make till the vehicle end of production. So roughly around 3-4 years, you make the production vehicle, then you do like 10 years maintenance, roughly around revenue out of it. But after that, there is no revenue for the OEMs, right? But if you try to look into your new business with the SDV, software-defined vehicles, of course, you have same a vehicle development cycle, 3 to 5 years, being reduced to 2, 3 years. The reason is the virtual development of the vehicle, right? We are trying to validate digital twin the vehicles and try to separate the software and hardware development. So to accelerate the development cycle. So as soon as you start your production, you get money by selling your vehicle. Not only that, even after your end of production, you're still going to make money by releasing your softwares, new features to the vehicle architecture. So that will enhance the money you can earn out of this vehicle. So what it is going to bring back to the customer. So you don't need to pay everything upfront. You can pay partial of your money to the car, and rest of the money rest of the cost of the vehicle will be recollected all the time. So it's a win-win for OEMs as well as for the consumer. Next. Okay, so that being laid out first, let's look into technological challenges or the stage what we have. So currently, if you see, the complexity inside the vehicle is growing at exponential scale. So initially we had like 4 to 5 ECUs. Now more than 50 ECUs are running independently in the car. So this has become a big chaos for any update or anything happening to the vehicle, because you cannot change one ECU. You have to pull in the car to the dealer shop, then you have to change it by manually. That's not scalable solution, right? And also you have you're exporting your vehicles to different regions across the globe. And imagine how chaos this is going to be. You have to train your service engineer to change the software or flag the system. It's not a scalable solution. That's what we had currently. That's a reason the OEMs are moving towards a domain control feature. So where you can upload new software or feature over the air, and that get flashed into the zonal architecture. So what I mean by zonal, you see here hundreds of small controllers are there. That's all clubbed together, a zonal based architecture where you can have a bigger SoC system on chip, and you can flash different softwares and feature onto it. And imagine this hierarchy, this architecture is being evolved from your cloud computing, right? So now you have a cloud computing, you have shared services, whether you can rent an entire data center, or you can rent a stack, or you can even rent a space within the compute service. Similarly, you have your SoC, you can flash different programs. It's all Linux-backed system that can install and start doing the services activity. And if there is no service required, it will go to sleep mode. And it really helps us to scale the system. So that's what's going to be happening currently right now. And in future, even this development is going to enhance further. There is a lot of companies investing on this technology to increase the compute in the car by introducing more micro level chips and more memory and more compute capacity. So in 2028 plus, you'll start seeing more and more zonal based things start going to coming in. Okay. Okay, so that being said, so let's look at to the ecosystem, how this development is going to happen. Is it going to happen just by one industry, or it is a cumulative of effort happening across all the domains in the industry? So I just spoke about the business case, right? And what you have is a traditional 7-stack system. You have your hardware, network layer, then you have operating system, then you have application systems, and you have a business model on top of it, right? Similarly, you have a very different OEMs, or sorry, tier one suppliers are operating in it. Especially if you see the digital chassis system where you have your Snapdragon and other software chip manufacturer who's helping us to integrate the hardware piece of the SoC. And on top of that, you have the middleware system. It could be Android or open source based. And again, on the top of that, you're going to have a car services, software application services that could come from companies like Google, other companies like Value, and other subsystems, tier one suppliers. And this is where you collect all these pieces and try to bridge your operating system for the vehicles. That's how it works. And it's very seamless, right? As I told you, the over update is going to be. So this is your vehicle development stage. So once the vehicle is rolled out from this space, you're not going to go and change your hardware. But this hardware will help you to serve your purpose for next 10, 15 years. The way you're going to do it just by flashing new operating systems and new features onto the vehicle. That I think that caters to your business case. Okay, shifting gears. So what all this changes is going to bring? We don't know yet, because there is numerous innovation is happening as we speak because of this AI and edge cloud computing. It's growing at a pace, and there's new patterns, new technologies evolving on V2X, V2B, and those areas, right? And we don't know the business case yet, but we are already included those requirements in the vehicles that will, in future, we can flash any operating system or any features into it, right? So these are some of the things, right? So on the machine learning and the cloud. So I'm trying to separate this by compute capacity, or the innovation is happening within the vehicle, and the innovation is happening outside the vehicle, which is the cloud. The way the vehicle and the cloud is going to do is by your telemetrics services, by 5G network. And on the vehicle, some of the speaker already talked about it, like the predictive maintenance, what's happening around the vehicles, the convolution neural network that kind of predicts what is inside the vehicle is happening or around the vehicle. And the V2X and V2V was vehicle to vehicle and vehicle to infrastructure. So this is the new space where there is new in, products and features will get launched in this space. And you have your user experience, like for your digital um, AI, which assists your driver. It's like more personalized solution. It maps all your calendar event. It maps all your routes. Where do you stop your for coffee and services? So these are the personalized AI assistants is going to help you out in your business. Similarly, on the cloud side, you're going to have tons of vehicle data. So these data will be curated and used to improve the services. And especially 20 to 25% of vehicles sold in US market or across the globe are the commercial vehicles. They have different requirements in terms of where the vehicles are, what is the maintenance schedules, how the drivers are behaving, how the parcels are delivered. So there are tons of data that business owners need from the vehicles. So you need to have extra compute and separate infrastructure for this vehicle to get connected to the cloud, and then you can start producing those results to our business owners, especially for the commercial customers. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to talk quickly on the cloud and edge infrastructure, right? So that we already seen why the infrastructure is needed, right? So let's look into the cloud side. So if you see, there's 75% of the automakers already adapted to the cloud infrastructure. Some of the OEMs are already made a partnership, and they did a bigger announcement who they are going to go with in terms of the cloud resources. But some of the OEMs are still using third-party services for their cloud. But on an average, there is around 50 to 100 GB of data per are getting transferred to the cloud, right, from the vehicle. So that is huge amount of data. So you need to have a long-term relations with the cloud services. And also on the over-the-air update, as I told you, this is going to bring in new revenue to the OEMs. That's why they have started investing heavily on this, right? And this also they wanted to do the acceleration of the vehicle development. So that's where the digital twin comes in. Digital twin is it's a virtual replica of your vehicle before it get produced or doing any proto development. This development will happen virtually inside the computer, and the engineers uses different scenarios to run the vehicle. For example, DC fast charge. How quick your vehicle can do a DC fast charge in 20 minutes. It's either 0 to 80 or 0 to 100, right? And they run different ambient conditions. Is it too cold, too warm? It's a rainy day, how the batteries need to recondition, and what are the entertainment features the users are using while the vehicle is at their park. If they're using Netflix or they're using games, they will try to roll out more features towards the user behavior, right? So for that, you need to know how the vehicle is behaving and what the user preferences are while the vehicle is under service. So those are the things which is gets out of the vehicles and be used for the vehicle product development side. So quickly on the AI in the SDV space, I already saw a great presentation by Satya sharing the AI into the SDV space, but that is it's a beginning of the hockey stick curve, right? There is still going to be enormous innovation is going to come. So there is a report from the big consultant company, like 80% of the innovation is now are based upon the software and AI based feature, right? That's and also if you look into it, right, there is a voice, you have a vision, and you have your emotions, and you have your physical, the weather and temperature, or how your comfortness of your body inside the vehicle. So these are all the examples of the phases where the innovation is going to come. And on the vehicle side, as I told you earlier, it's going to be predictive maintenance. We're going to send the data where how the vehicle is behaving with respect to the environment. So this all getting collected. So if you try to see the domain where the hardware is going to grow over the next 15 years, you see in 2030, there is a much growth is going to happen based upon the LiDAR and radar technology, because the vehicle need to understand the ecosystem more, and the sensors and the safety aspect, it's going to be uh, it's already mature. So you see there is not much is going to happen, because whenever we rolled out the new feature, first priority is safety. So that is already matured or in the saturation stage. But there is a huge gap for the domain control and electronic control, which this space is going to grow much faster. And of course, your LiDAR and the radar features is going to increase in the Zoom, and that's going to bring closely around 80 billion revenue by 2030. It's a bigger market. Who are the players? Today, if you see, mostly it is dominated by the OEMs and the tier one supplier. So they decide what is going into the vehicle, and they drive the decision for the tier one supplier or the other supplier. But this paradigm is going to shift to the future paradigm, where the OEM will be in the center, and they're not going to talk to just the tier one supplier. They're going to talk to all the parties involved in the vehicle development. So traditionally, they will talk to the tier one, tier will talk to the tier two, and the information pass along with us. But here, since it is a SDV, and you can update the feature or the third party feature directly. So you have a connection between OEM and the third party content creators. And you have your OEM versus your product developments, right? These are the people who help accelerate the vehicle development or software validation. And these are the people who help you to upgrade your SoC, the compute capacity, or the control unit. So the future is changing from the legacy to OEM. So with this, I'm going to conclude my keynote speech here, and I'm happy to take any questions you have in terms of the SDV and the future of vehicle development. Thank you.
If any participant has any question, they can raise their hand. As there are no questions, thank you so much, Mr. Sanikal. Thank you so much for the insightful presentation.
Thank you so much.
So let's move to